The Patriots are atop the AFC, sitting at 10-2, and now they face Jameis Winston and the New York Giants on Monday Night Football here in Week 13. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, who's the biggest Patriots fan of them all. We're going to break down this game and provide our predictions at the very end of the video. So be sure to stay tuned, leave a comment, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe button to get notified when new videos come out. We're trying to get to 100 new subscribers this week, and let's see if we can do it in this video alone. And Ryan, let's get into it here. So
Let's do it.
typically Sunday night, we do a lot of the main previews for the next week's games, like on Sunday night, and then we save some for Monday. We typically do try and do 10. This Patriots game was the 10th one. And we're like, hey, let's hold off because we need to see what the news is about Will Campbell and Jared Wilson. And luckily here, Ryan, reporting to you, and as we've seen more information come out today, luckily it's just sprains. They're not going to be available for this game. But the playoff push that you guys are going to be going on here and looking for, both those guys should be back by, I think, week 17, week 18, maybe, and should be good to go, which is huge for one. Obviously, I'm just glad that they're not devastatingly hurt. I'm sure that doesn't feel good, but still, protect Drake Maye and the way that just the youthfulness and excitement that as a fan watching this offense, you want everybody to be as healthy as possible. And there's a reason why those guys are the starters. So, Ryan, I want to throw it over to you here. How relieved are you to hear this news?
Oh my gosh. Very relieved. Obviously, it's unfortunate. Both of these guys are obviously rookies, as Patriots fans know. But I thought about this today and how exhausting the last 3 months have been. They've played 12 straight games week after week. You go in college, they play 12 games in a whole season, but they have 2 byes in between those 12 games. Those games are less physically demanding than NFL games are, obviously. And so it's the wear and tear on their bodies early on in this season, I think, has been very evident. And then that late bye, I think, for a lot of teams, like I think you go look at Seattle, and Seattle's really hitting their stride. They have a late bye as well, but they have a much more veteran team than the Patriots, who have a mix of veterans, but then also some very young starters as well. So for me, I was very relieved to hear that those were just sprains and that we will get them back for our playoff push, hopefully. But from there, like this team, this was a rough outing for the Patriots. This was a team that they really should have put 35 plus on. They come out of there with 26. I think yardage wise, they were okay. They had a little over, I believe, a little over 300 yards. Drake Maye threw for, or sorry, they had 395. So they almost had 400 yards of offense. But Drake Maye didn't look his best. He had some good throws here or there. The pick 6 was a bad throw. We should have had another interception as well that just luckily fell to the ground. And so this was, offensively, one of their lesser performances, especially against one of the worst defenses in the league. And we'll talk about this Giants defense a little bit later and how they might match up really well against this Patriots offense. But if it weren't for some, clutch defensive moments, it was a nice pick 6 by Marcus Jones. It is the season of giving, and Joe Flacco really gave us one there. And so, and then Carlton Davis stepped up as well. And, they got some pressure in some key situations. So I think, they made enough plays to win. And you've been saying it throughout all these videos at this point in the year, just figure out a way to win. Just win the game and move on. And that's what the Patriots did. The Giants, I will say, I was very impressed with them this past week, taking it to Detroit and taking them to overtime. Jameis Winston, one of the most entertaining football players in the entire league. And so watching him get up at the podium too, and what he said, I think was great. And I like this Giants team. They're actually very talented for a team that is 2-10. So I just, I'm very impressed with what they've done so far this year.
Well, and just quickly to that point about talented, it's think about everything going on with the New York Giants organization so far.
Obviously, that caveat is in.
Yeah. Well, but it's like they're gonna be looking for a new head coach. But honestly, if you're looking for a new head coach, Jackson Darts looked pretty good as well. I like during his time here, definitely been a spark to that team. You got to see what happens with Cam Scadaboo and like the injury for him coming back. But he's also more of a bowling ball guy, anyways. It's not like speed was really his strength, anyways. Then you're gonna have Malik Neighbors as well. You're gonna have a top 5 pick. It's actually kind of a good spot to be going into. The issue is though, it's you got to deal with the Giants front office, but that's a totally separate issue. But I think for me here, when I look at your Patriots, yeah, real quick sidebar, I don't like the Week 14 bye either. I
Yeah.
think I think Thanksgiving should be the first week where all the teams come back. Like I think the NFL should do something about that, where all buys are week 7 to week 12. Not that these injuries were not related to the bye or like to them being on the field for so long. Like Will Campbell's was just kind of a football play, unfortunately, where he
Yeah.
got rolled up on. I mean that more just in general. I've been thinking about this. Like it seems kind of unfair to the teams that have a bye in week 5 versus in week 14 as well too. Like I think that should be kind of end of October, early November should be a bye week, but that's a totally separate thing. But yeah, with your Patriots though, just win doesn't look good. I think a lot of crazy things also too going on as well. It's like, well, it doesn't affect the offense performance, but like what type of offense were the Bengals going to be throwing out there? And I think Patriots did a good job as well. I think they're going to be going up against an offense that is inferior to the Bengals on paper and like with their explosiveness. But that being said, though, they are going to have to find a way to shut down Jameis Winston. Luckily, though, for you all, the Giants statistically are the worst rushing defense as now, 157 rushing yards per game, if our math is correct here. And so I think that's really what this game is going to be. I know you guys are going to back up offensive linemen, but I still think, though, too, how good the pass rush is with Brian Burns leading the way. He's got a bunch of sacks on the season as well, too. Still got Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter as well, too. You got Dexter Lawrence in there. I think one of the things, though, too, about they're quicker, but kind of we've seen teams do this Micah Parsons in the past is like, well, if we run at them, like we use a lot of force with them, like that's might not be as typically as their strength. I could be wrong in that as well. But I think that's kind of where their strategy is going to go. I think one of the reasons why maybe they're a little bit easier to run against. That also being said, though, too, they're down in every game, so that might be skewed just a little bit on their run
Mhm.
defense capabilities. But in general, though, here when I look at this game, it's like, sure, are there ways, like if Jameis Winston and the Giants go lights out and they just have a fun time like how they were doing in Detroit, 100% could maybe see them pulling off the upset here, especially with the injuries that y'all have going on. But I think this is going to be one of those. You guys are going to have an extra day of rest. And actually, if you think about it, you guys are going to have play one game in about 3 weeks, and it's this Monday night game because you guys have a bye week 14. So,
Yeah.
um, so I think that this is going to be, hey, let's crush this one here. We should be able to do this. And when you go and then look at your guys' schedule the rest of the way, uh, you got the Giants here. The Bills is going to be a big one. You're going to be at that game actually. Then
Yes.
at the Ravens, which is absolutely doable. The Ravens still are not playing extremely well, but then at the Jets and then versus the Dolphins at home. So you guys could, in theory, go 15-2 still. I think you guys got to clean it up a little bit. I'm sure you guys will drop one in there somewhere, but home field advantage
Yeah.
and that bye week especially is going to be huge for you all. Just make sure you guys are getting healthy.
Yeah. And that's like this team I still think is talented. They have had the easiest schedule in the NFL, but you go look, they've played some decent defenses. This Bengals team is not one of them.
Right.
And so like I know that high level offensive football is in there. The biggest thing, they had 3 trips to the red zone where they settled for field goals. I think multiple inside the 5. Where
Mhm.
like you got to convert those into touchdowns, and you convert those into touchdowns, and we're talking about a much different offensive performance here. You had make it 38 points instead of 26, and that's a
Yeah.
totally different day. So I just think it was an off day for the offense. I do think the Patriots will come out on top in this one. I will say Vidarian Lowe is not a huge drop off from Will Campbell in terms of pass protection. He is a big drop off in terms of run blocking. And Kayvon Thibodeau usually plays over that left tackle, and he's one of the best run defending defensive ends in the league. And I think that's going to be a matchup that we'll need to watch. Ben Brown is really a center. And so I think, going from Jared Wilson, who struggles, with power well, blocking power in the pass game, and then also, getting push in the run game. I think that is, a little bit more of the same, but Ben Brown is a slightly lesser version of Jared Wilson. And so hopefully they can mask some of the, uh, wounds there. And then, I do expect a heavy dose of outside zone toward Brian Burns, get Hunter Henry and Morgan Moses on a double team on
Mhm.
him, and then get Travion Henderson into the second level and let him utilize his speed to get some yards from there, and then run away from Dexter Lawrence. I do not want to see this team. They're very undersized in the middle when you look at left guard and center. Mike Onwenu is big, but I still don't like running at Dexter Lawrence. So I think targeting Brian Burns in the run game is going to be the Patriots strategy here. But I will say this Giants front could potentially pose some issues with the injuries that the Patriots have. I mean, they have some good pass rushers up front. Abdul Carter as well. We haven't really even talked about him very much this season. Well, and he also got sidelined with some disciplinary issues there for a little bit. So
yeah,
it's going to be a tough game. This is, as a Patriots fan, this is one I'm not looking forward to because I think that the Giants really could come in here and upset us. And like we said at the beginning, what they did with the Bengals, just win. I don't care how it looks, just get the win.
You know what's so funny about all these teams that are really bad? Might be some exceptions here, but like the Bengals definitely an exception sitting at 3-8 on how good their defense is. But the Browns are 3-8, probably one of the best defenses in the league. Las Vegas Raiders, they do have Max Crosby, so the defensive front is like you got to look out for the guy as well too. New York Jets defensive front was better. I mean, they still have Jermaine Johnson and everything. Tennessee Titans defensive front, that's the only thing good about that team. Well, and Cam Ward's playing well. But the Giants defensive front's really good. Actually, I think they're the only team officially eliminated. The Titans aren't even eliminated yet, ironically. The Saints defense front's not horrible. Commanders, they've dealing with some injuries. Cardinals defensive front, defense in general is pretty good. The Cardinals are much better than a 3-8 record. So that's what's unique about all these bad teams is they got a good defensive front and they can disrupt any offensive line on any given day. So I think that's a possibility with this Giants team right here is they could just disrupt Drake Maye in this team.
That's what they did with the Chargers.
Yeah. I do think, though, I think one X factor we're not talking about, though, is the coaching staff for the Patriots. And Mike Vrabel, I think, is going to recognize that. He's going to have the game plan. I think he's going to be able to set y'all up for success here. And I think that's going to end up being the difference. I also think, too, defensively, I haven't talked too much about your guys' defense. I think that they're going to throw some fun stuff at Jameis Winston. And Jameis Winston, as fun as he is, he's a gunslinger, but he's a gunslinger for a reason. And I think he's going to make some mistakes here. And that's why I think still at the end of the day, you guys are going to win on primetime. But also, too, as well, who's really going to pick the Giants here? Is it a possibility? We walked through the possibility, but I would take the Patriots here probably plus 5.5, plus 6.5 at home. Like I think it could at least be a touchdown.
Yeah, potentially. I think,
or I guess minus 6.5 technically.
I would say like 27-20. Very similar game to the Bengals. I just think the the Giants are a better defense than them, and so if they can come out and be a little bit more consistent on the offensive side of the ball, I think that they'll put up 27 fairly easily. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap this video up here. We are both taking the Patriots in this Monday Night Football matchup. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this matchup. Will it be the New York Giants? Will it be the New England Patriots? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.